Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, everyone. Nice to know you all. There is network. Okay, I'll wait for that. Not sure why that is coming up. Hello, everybody. There is a bit of a network thing. I will go back to. Let me put that on. 1 minute. Okay. Oh, hopefully the network is fine now. Let's see. Let's try that again. Okay. I can't still see myself for some reason. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you. Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you, Dr. Bumi. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, but for some reason my video is not coming up. Not sure why. Not sure why, but okay, I'll carry on like this because of our time. You are welcome, Dr. Aderonke Chapere. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for coming on here. Um, we are talking about the 21st century um, academic, the how do you become a lecturer, what is the lifestyle of a lecturer, what is lecturing, people may want to ask. So before I ask you to introduce yourself, I'll bring on the screen this definition for people who are listening, maybe for young ones out there who are saying, oh, I want to do the job this auntie or this mommy or this uncle is doing. They work in the university, but I don't know what they do. I don't know what it entails. So for young people who are thinking, what is lecturing about? I will share with you this on my screen. And that is it coming up? For some reason, it's still not coming up as either. This is not coming up for some reason. Okay, lecturing. I don't know why. That's strange. It wasn't like that before. Lecturing. I'll just read what it has here, and if for some reason I'm able to get that through at the end before the end of our talk, I will bring it up. So, lecturing. A higher education lecturer um, needs to be an expertise in their subject area in order to teach students. And their teaching methods include lectures, seminars, tutorials, practical demonstrations, fieldwork, and e-learning. And multimedia technologies are becoming increasingly used. There's so many responsibilities here: writing of papers, participating in staff meeting, delivering lectures, seminars, and all of that. I have an able hand with us today who is going to be talking to us about lecturing, especially in the 21st century where there's so much technology around us. So over to you, Dr. Chakra. Can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bomi Habel, for having me here this afternoon. And so the first introduction you've done already by mentioning my name. So my name is Aderonke Busayo Sakwere. I'm Yoruba, married to an Yoruba man. So to give you a background of my educational qualification, so I have a first degree in computer science from University of Ilorin, and then also a master's in computer science from University of Ilorin, then a PhD in computer science from University of Cape Town in South Africa. I also have like a professional qualification in Oracle application development. So precisely a PL SQL developer. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, wonderful. That's a lot of profile there. Portfolio. Thank you. I know you've been doing a lot of great work nationally and internationally, and I thought you're the best person to call off to speak to young ones about what lecturing is about, the career journey of lecturing. And I would like to ask, what exactly is lecturing about and how is it relevant in the world today?
Okay, so if you look at the flyer, you see that I called myself a faculty member. I didn't use the word lecturer, and that's on purpose. That's because in different parts of the word lecturer has different meaning. Okay, so in a country like US, when you say somebody is a lecturer, it's saying that the person just lectures, and that's all. But in country like Nigeria, when you say somebody is a lecturer, to a great extent, the person is is expected to both lecture and also carry out research. Um, so let me just say a faculty member. So I will use the word faculty member or an academic essentially carries out like two major activities, the lecturing part and the research part. So the lecturing has to do with imparting knowledge, teaching people, going to the classroom to teach, or facilitating lectures even online. When it comes to the other aspect, which is research, it means you want to look into your area of study and maybe provide solution to certain like gaps or to certain areas. You want to improve on existing technology, you want to improve on existing technique, or you even want to look at your community and maybe provide like a solution. Yeah, so those are the two key things that a faculty member or an academic gets involved in.
Thank you very much. Thank you for explaining and differentiating between the terms used in different countries. For the sake of a worldwide audience, I'll use faculty member or lecturer, higher education lecturer. I'll use that. I'll use that so that some people who are listening will be like, okay, what does it mean? So yes, if I may ask, what are the prospects of being a faculty member or a lecturer?
Okay, okay. Yeah, so there are many prospects. Number one, you get to build like the next generation of like people in your field, in your discipline, because you're essentially imparting knowledge. So that means you are responsible for, for developing or for raising like future generation in that particular discipline. So if you are really like keen or interested in developing people when it comes to human capacity, then lecturing could be like a field to consider, because just like I've said earlier on, you want to see how to impart. When you say you want to impart, that means you want to pour all that is within you. You want to pour it out into someone else. You want to see yourself, or you want to replicate yourself, not necessarily yourself, even a better version of yourself. So if you are really keen with when it comes to raising people, when it comes to imparting knowledge, when it comes to like just making sure that you leave the world, like you bring up the next generation. Then that's one angle of it, one prospect. Then the other one is when it comes to the research aspect, you want to think about people like Albert Einstein, Newton, Isaac Newton, all of those people. They were in the field of academics. You see, they are no more in the world, but we still hear about them. And even when this generation is has passed on, and the next generation will still keep hearing about them. So when you're in academics, it also gives you like that particular platform to be able to like make a difference, even when it comes to science, to innovation, to technology. And so when you're even no longer here on the surface of the earth, even your impact, people can still benefit from it. So so that's another prospect. So if you're looking at contributing to knowledge, if you're looking at contributing even in your field, making a contribution that will outlive you, then lecturing could be another one. And then the third one is in the aspect of community development. Maybe you want to give back to your community, like you want. Like currently now, I run a club called Tailgates Club, whereby we hold outreaches. We go to secondary school or high school, and then we try to organize talk. We try to do like mentorship program. Those are not necessarily research or lecturing, but you just want to make the community a better place. You want to ensure that people that are less privileged also get some certain opportunity. So community development is also another platform whereby you get to serve people. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. So that's a lot. That's really a lot of impact, I'll say, on the world. Adding value to the world. So, have you got some success stories from people you have actually mentored? I don't want to use lectured or so. Have you got like success stories from people who have gone through your tutoring or mentoring, and how are they doing today?
Okay. So actually, before I joined University of Ibadan, so I worked in an institution called NIIT, like an information technology institution that runs like all these professional qualifications, CCNA, Oracle, and all of that. Even though my stay there was brief, like 7 months or thereabout, but I remember as far back as then, some of my students walked up to me and said, coming into my class, they were able to understand that, like, because in that center, they take people from different backgrounds. So I had like people in the accounting background in my field. And I remember one of them walking up to me and saying that my class was really interactive. She was able to learn. She even invited me to her home to meet her parents and all of that. And so currently, though we are not in touch anymore, or we are still in touch through the social media like Facebook. So but at least we are not as close as we were then. But I can say that even as far back as then, this like 15 years ago, if I'm right, yeah. So I can still say as far back as then, I was able to influence, to like impact her. So talking about like university now that we're in university, now that I'm in university, so like over 10 years. So I've seen like currently in the last 2 weeks, I did a post because I just finished like a fellowship program that was organized by MIT. And I did a post online just to like narrate my experience in the last 4 months, and one of my students made a comment and said, in the university, my programming class was the best, and she made it. And other people that were in that class also, reacted to that particular comment, just to agree, with him that indeed, and I also, during that period, I also organized, like even outside of classroom, I organized like a Python challenge whereby we're having like a problem set, or we're having like a one challenge per day for 30 days. And many people that participated in that particular outside of class intervention actually affirmed the fact that helped them. That was like like that gave them like a platform to be able to start their programming journey and all of that. Yeah, I think there are quite some stories here and there. There are people that I think there's one of our students, or my past student in Stanford University, that also said my role back in university really helped her. So yeah, there are a lot of stories here and there and there and there. Some are in the social media, so people may want to Google them, or yeah. So I think my LinkedIn profile is open, so people can go there and see some of these things. And then, of course, last year, I was voted as the lecturer of the year in my department. So I want to believe, because I never knew about it, the student just came and brought the award, and like names were suggested and had their highest vote. So I believe that's like an impact, that I've made in the life of students. I give all the glory to God, that because I believe He's the one that has strengthened, because it's not easy going out of your comfort zone, because some of the things I do at times, they are not in the terms and condition of my job. So yeah, we thank
Yeah,
God for that.
wonderful. Going above and beyond what you actually do. So thank you very much. That is the page I'm sharing there, and that is our honorable Dr. Aderonke Achapere. Thank you very much for impacting lives. I think if nobody has said it, I know you've had so many accolades and so many people have said, come up to you to say thank you, thank you. I am also contributing my voice to that to say thank you for adding value to your world. Thank you very much for being a shoulder to lean on in the academic setting, because we've heard of stories of different people who have been in charge of other students and how they have been mismanaged and done, rather than adding positivity to their lives, they've gone the other way. So thank you very much for being a shoulder to lean on and being an example in our world today. So, and that's the profile. Just in case you want to speak to Dr. Shakure after this, you can reach her on her Facebook page, and you said on LinkedIn as well.
LinkedIn. In the
Okay.
last 1 or 2 months, I've not been active on my Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So thank you very much for that. Now, the next question is, how do I know? For young people who are asking the question, like, how do I know if lecturing is for me or not? What would is there a specific character? Is there a specific longing? How do I know that I need to be a lecturer or not? Over to
Okay,
you.
so I will start the other way around, or by saying some things some people should not consider at the moment. So first of all, like we all know, in this part of the world, in Nigeria, lecturers are not well paid. I guess is one of the reasons we are on strike at the moment. So I would say people should not use that as like a criteria to rule out that particular option of career. Because at times it's not all that glitters that is gold. Like recently I was telling, like I made a post on my WhatsApp, and I'm like, I remember when I was in university, when we're in a final year or so, like I was telling a friend I would like to be a lecturer, and the kind of reaction I got, like, lecturer? Like, I was like, he was like, anyway, we'll be sending our children to you. You shall be helping with the mission. But even as far back as then, I never thought I would see myself at MIT. And going to MIT, I was also able to like understudy a professor at Harvard University. And those are the two top institutions. I never imagined, in the last like 20 or 15 years ago, when I was telling that my friend, that I would love to be a lecturer. And I remembered, like, even after school, some of my family members still went ahead and applied, like, for me to get into a bank, all of that. But so my mind, my heart was just in lecturing. And I had like close friends, like the professional certification I did, the Oracle application development track, like a friend, we did it together. Our own interest is in the industry. So I will start by saying people should not. I'm not rich. I'm not saying I'm rich. I'm not rich at all. So you understand. So but I'm just saying money is not everything. There are things that gives you like joy, satisfaction that even money cannot fill that voice. I would say number one. People should follow their heart. People should follow their passion. People should follow what they believe they are created or destined to become. You know, so that's what I would like to say in that context, because currently you see many young ones don't want to come into the field, into the discipline, because they feel like this job is people on this in this field or in this career, academic career, are not really paid. So I would say that should not be the first consideration. Yeah. So basically, if you want to become a lecturer, so you need to have interest in teaching, in lecturing. You need to have interest in research. Even if you don't have all the interest, even at the inception, some of this interest can be nurtured. So, for instance, when I told that my colleague or friend I was going to become a lecturer, I didn't know anything about research, but as I started the job, I learned on the job. I just had a passion for teaching, but I didn't, even prior to then, I had no like formal experience or training when it comes to teaching pedagogy. But these are things that I nurtured. These are things that I learned, on the job, and I'm still learning. So I would say that first, all you need is just the interest, and as you start the career, some of these things can be nurtured. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was talking behind. Yeah, thank you very, very much for this. It's all goes to show that if you have a passion for something, you follow your heart, follow your dream. And I'm so glad that you were able to say that, even though people are not being paid um large sum of money, especially now, even NASA is on strike, all those kind of all that process kind of is very discouraging to people. But here you go, you are still sticking to your heart and doing what you love doing best, impacting lives of people, impacting knowledge into people. So thank you very much. Now, my question, from this, let me see now, from this award here, it shows you still have to carry on having certificates and doing programs and traveling to present papers and all of that. So, what steps can people take? Well, can those who want to be into lecturing, what steps can they take to be relevant internationally and not just be a local champion? You're only known within a certain community, but what can be done? Exams, certificates, like you've done. How could they start, or how can they, well, if they are lecturers at the moment and they're still within their own small caucus, how can they expand their knowledge? How can they go international?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll say the first step is number one, there's a need for mentorship. Like there's need, to have like mentors. And then number two, they should not be in a hurry. Number three, they could face many rejections. So let me take it the first one and explain further. So when I joined University of Ibadan in 2011, as then, like I said earlier on, I didn't know much about research. I just had like passion for teaching. But then I realized that I need to also go a step further and, have a PhD for me to be relevant, in on the career or on the job, and for me to make like progress. So what I did at that point in time was I just looked at a problem I would like to work on, and then I wrote something about that problem, then showed it to like a senior colleague, and the senior colleague was gracious enough, to like mentor me, to say, I know this proposal is not yet good enough. this is what you need to do, what you need to do. And even as at that time, I've had the interest that I would like to even go abroad and, for my PhD. But I didn't. I also looked at the option of still staying back in Nigeria. So I was, as I was looking at possibility of going abroad, trying to apply, for scholarship, for admission. I was also considering Nigeria. I think it took me like about 1 or 2 years, before I was able to get like a place overseas, like in South Africa, to carry out my PhD studies. So that's why I said the first thing is mentorship. I had the idea, but then I didn't like tailor it, or I didn't write it in the appropriate way. I didn't like really go into literature, but the mentor was gracious enough, to help me refine like my proposal. And then the second one, that I talked about, I said one should not be in a hurry. I applied. It's not the first school I applied to outside of Nigeria to run my PhD that considered me first. Even the school that eventually considered me, that would not be my first application to that school for PhD, and in that particular lab. So the first time I applied, I was not shortlisted even for PhD in computer science in that lab. So I had to apply again. And then this time around, thankfully, I was shortlisted, And so all of that was also coming alongside with the help of the mentor. Remember, I said it took us like over a year to work on the proposal. So you can imagine that the first time I applied to that particular institution, I must have used a proposal, or I must have submitted a proposal that didn't meet the standard. But we had like another year again to refine the proposal, to keep on reading, and so that's the second thing that, when I was saying don't be in a hurry, because some things takes time, especially when you are new, especially when you don't have prior experience or knowledge, Yeah, so that's the next. Then the next thing I would say is, the third thing I said, you won't be face many rejection. I remember when I was doing my PhD, even though yes, I had a sponsorship, but then I also wish I have like many accolades, like there were other opportunities you could apply for fellowship, like UNESCO, Google. In fact, almost all the other fellowship I applied for while I was on my PhD, I didn't get them. So I would say that I faced like if not over 90% rejection. Even my first paper that got accepted on the PhD program, it was rejected, I think 2 or 3 times before it was now finally accepted. And when it was finally accepted, it was now listed as one of the best papers. But you can imagine the back-to-back rejection. In fact, at a point, I went through depression on my PhD. So so that's why I'm saying when we get like rejections, but if we like take those rejections in good faith, everything can work together for one's good. Even this MIT program I went for, this will not be the first time that I applied for the program. In 2018, I applied and I wasn't shortlisted. So I emailed them and I'm like, you didn't tell me whether my application scaled through. I didn't hear anything. They said, well, maybe I'm still on the waiting list if I hear from them. So I didn't hear from them again. They had to tell me finally, you didn't scale through. But then I had to apply again the second time. And I have a lot of testimonies like that. It wasn't the first time I applied. Like Idabeg Laureate Forum, like I told you while on my PhD, I think even on my PhD, I can say I faced 95% rejection. If I say I faced 99, that Idabeg Laureate Forum Foundation, I applied while I was on my PhD. I didn't complete the application. That was when I was facing depression, but they said they wouldn't consider my application. But afterwards, I had to also apply again. Yeah. So I would say to get many of those accolades, fellowships, opportunities is very possible. But before you get it, you might face like a lot of rejection. I don't know. Maybe there are some that are fortunate, but when you take like different sample of different lecturers, you find out that a lot of them like faced rejection. There's a post I did like on one of my social media platform. There's a lady on the day of PhD defense. She wore a gown and sorry, she wore a skirt, and actually that skirt she made it from different rejection letters. So all
Wow.
the rejection she got while she was on her PhD, right from inception, all the rejections, she printed them out, stapled them together, and made a skirt out of it. And she wore that skirt for her PhD defense. So that's to show, if somebody can make a skirt out of many rejection letters. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I would say it's very possible. But at times people tend to want to get discouraged, and then I would say that one can have a goal. I think that was in 2020 or 2019. Around that time, I had a goal that every month I must apply for an international opportunity, maybe at least 3 international opportunities or so. So there are times that I would deliberately go online, even when nobody is sending me application. I can
Mm.
just say opportunities for lecturers, outside Nigeria, short-term course, like seminar. It could be like summer school. So even if nobody is sending, because at times people will say, please send me any opportunity. But at times you can forget. But you too can be proactive and, go online yourself, Google, subscribe to different mailing lists. Like I'm on different mailing lists, and through that I get like updates.
Wow.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. It's so inspiring to listen to you, because I know what you mean when you say you receive a lot of rejections. Writing papers is not been at all. Like they'll say, it's not be more. It's not. And then you go through all of that and then you get rejected. In fact, those are one of the things that made me like, I've had enough. And even applying for grants, you apply, put all the resources here, and at the end of the day, you get rejected. So it's good when people are very resilient and
Mhm.
persistent like you. And thank you very much. I have another doctor online. She's my cousin, actually, Dr.
Okay.
Kemi Oni. She has also been through what we are talking about. So she says, let me put you on the screen. It says he said most people find it difficult to present papers outside of the country because of cost implications. Is there any way one can overcome this regular problem in Nigeria?
Yeah, she's actually right. But like I said again, I will share my story. So there was this, I think that should be in 2019 or so, when I got a paper accepted, like in UK, I think Glasgow precisely, and I really wanted to go, not just to present, so that I could also meet people. And I didn't have any sponsorship. I had to first of all write to the organizers, and they said they don't offer at that moment, or they don't have any support. I started writing to different people. Like I said, at times I go online and say like maybe travel grant and all of that. But eventually I didn't really get. But like I had something that could cover for the conference cost. You have different costs. The travel cost is there, the conference cost, accommodation cost, and all of that. So eventually I got what could only, so from a previous conference that I attended, I didn't exhaust all that was given to me for that conference. So the leftover I had from that could only cover for the conference cost. So I paid for the conference cost. I didn't travel down. So I had to get like another colleague in another country that was in Germany at that time and would be attending the conference. So the person presented on my behalf, you know. So I would say to that Dr. Oni is actually bright, but I would say that should not discourage people from still submitting. I've also been blessed and fortunate, to have been able to get like there's one I applied. There's one in UK. that I was able to get like a travel grant for. For me, most of the problem has been like either visa, like I've had like for three different summer schools or conference that I ought to have gone for. One, the visa came late, the approval came late. One, there was rejection and all of that. So for me, with respect to traveling from Nigeria, it's really been more of facing having visa issues, than the travel grant. So I would say people should not be discouraged. It's just thinking outside of the box. There are grants one can access, just like I said, even when you can access the grant, you can still look at possibility of maybe somebody presenting on your behalf, you connecting back. Actually, these days people do hybrid stuff. So, but there are a couple of grants one can explore, especially when when they know you are from this side of the world. A lot of people or a lot of conferences want to support like people or academics from the developing world. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for joining us on this. Thank you for writing your comments, Dr. Oni. And I hope that question has been answered the way you want it. If not, you can still send in more clarification, request for more clarification. Yes. Oh, thank you very much for sharing this with us. She also said, wow, consistency is the key. Don't give up. Thank you, ma, for this. Thank you. Now, my next question actually is about, you've been a mentor to people, and I'm sure you've got that cue from maybe someone who has been a good mentor to you, who's your favorite boss or favorite mentor. I'd like to ask you one of the last questions for today before we run overboard. Have you got a favorite boss or mentor, and why are they exemplary to you?
All right, so I would say at different stage of my journey, career journey, like have had, I still have, and I know I will still have because it's a continuous like journey. So in the past I've had like people, someone like Dr. Jayo Padiji at University of Ilorin. So because when I was running my master's program, it really helped me. So I can say that I was able to get like clear about what research is all about as a result of the mentorship he provided. Yeah. And then here at University of Ibadan, the likes of so when I started my career at University of Ibadan, Professor Adenike Oshofishan was the head of department then, and she was really so gracious to pair me up with like people that can mentor me. So she paired me up with Dr. Adejoke Olamiti, Dr. Ayonride, Dr. Oladejo, and these people were also helpful. They helped me on the job and all of that. And of course, Professor Adenike Oshofishan was also there to help with respect to supporting my PhD application outside of outside of Nigeria. In the recent times, I've had like mentors like Professor Olanike. So it's like all the Nikes are great people. So currently, Professor Olanike Adeyemo has really also been of great help, with respect to growing. There was actually a time that she took me out on a lunch, outside of the regular school environment. And all she was discussing with me was about how to ensure that I continue to make progress, so that I can know how to meet up with promotion at every point in time, how to publish papers and all of that. And she's really been very supportive and of great help. And also my host at MIT, Professor Akintayo Akiwande. Professor Tayo, Professor is actually Bitayo, sorry. So Bitayo Akiwande, so but Tayo for short, is actually also a very great person, so he poured out himself. That's what I would say. He poured out himself. If it's possible for him to literally bring out, everything in his mind, in his head, and just implant into us, he did that and more than that. And also, so these are people, that have, by mentor, I mean people that have been involved, that know me, and they also, I also know them. Of course, I have other people that inspires me, but the people I've mentioned are people that know me, like, so I my own definition of mentor, even though you can have people that inspire you, but I like to go with the definition of having a relationship with the person, not just a one-way thing. The person knows me, I also know the person. Like, it's more like an exchange, exchange
Mhm.
of knowledge, impartation. So the people I've mentioned so far are people that, we've actually had that exchange. We are still having that exchange. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Oh,
very
thank
much.
you. Thank you very
Oops, right, all right. It's so inspiring to hear, people who have contributed towards your progress, and how you are also impacting, other people, the coming generation. Like there's this, is it a cartoon now that some people rather than helping you up the ladder, they'll take the ladder away. They'll climb the ladder to the top and then take the ladder away with them so that nobody comes
much.
to where they are. And that is a bit selfish. So thank you very much for what you've shared with us today. It shows consistency, being persistent, not giving up, like Dr. Oni also mentioned, and just doing what you can to add value to the world. So thank you very much. I'm looking at my time that you've spent so much time with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is where I send a call out to people. Thank you very much for all of the shout outs we've had to Dr. Jai Okpadiji, to Professor Adenike Oshifisong, to Professor Olanike Adeyemo, to Professor Ibitayo Akinwande, and so many other people who have silently even been praying for you. I'm sure you've got a lot of that to say, even with parents and family and friends who were there during
And I
your time
actually
of
forgot
your low times. Yeah, you want to say
Yeah, and I
something?
actually forgot. I think I should. Yeah, so my first, so thinking about it, I actually think my first mentor is my dad, because he's also
Mm,
he's also, he was an academic. He's
mm,
retired now, so he's a retired prof. So I want to believe, even though we are not in the same discipline, the people I've mentioned are people that are in my discipline, or
yeah.
related discipline. He is
What was
in
his
the
name?
field of chemistry. Professor Femi Olaufe. Yeah. Yeah. So, growing up in a house, seeing your dad doing the job and seeing him derive joy from that job, even though as
Mm,
far back as then, even the salary was still very poor. There were days we have like pap and vegetable for breakfast. You share your meat with your siblings, so you don't get a whole egg to eat. So you share the egg,
yeah.
yeah. So, but seeing him still doing the job with joy, not complaining, not murmuring, yeah. So, yeah. So it's also like, I would say it's my first mentor. And even up till now, it still reminds me that I need to actually write a paper. How many people have you written this month? Blah, blah, Yeah.
That's
So,
wonderful.
yes.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to hear. And a family where there are academics. Okay, you can say that again. So that's wonderful to know. Thank you very much for sharing this time with us. I just want to ask. Thank you to those who have connected online. Some have come and gone. Just please remember to share, like, subscribe, and let people learn from this, and get encouraged that if they're having rejections, just like any job, you might apply not thousand, but hundreds or tens of applications. Only one will go through, but until you keep doing and keep applying, you will not get that answer you want. So just carry on doing what you're doing, and by the grace of God, all things will work together for your good. Thank you very much for your time. Now, before I go, to those out there, if you know of any, this time, it's a time where lecturers are on strike in Nigeria, and I'm thinking I need to interview some ASU people and find out what exactly is happening. What exactly is the problem? That is beyond me. It's been from generation to generation, and is it still the same problem, or is it a different kettle of fish this time? We want to know. So if you know anyone who is into the ASU um, community, please send them my way. Thank you very much. And yes, finally, do you have any last words for people who are listening, young ones, old ones, people who are in the academic, people who are thinking of coming into the academic? What is your last word for people?
Yeah, so my last word would be that people should not be pressured, to go in on a path that they are not really passionate about, that they are not really interested in. They should follow their own passion. They should also know that, for every, like, we are created by God, and then God, like, has a particular intention for everybody, even when it comes to career. And so they should just allow themselves to go in the way that they believe that God wants them to go, not to be pressured. It's possible. This particular era we have, it's possible to be pressured, either peer pressure, pressure coming from family, pressure coming from people to go on a path that they feel is lucrative, but that's not the only thing that needs to be considered. A lot of things needs to be considered. So that's what I would say. People should not be pressured, to go into what they are not passionate about. They should not be pressured to go into what they believe God is not really God did not destine them for, so people should not be pressured. Yeah, people should not be pressured, because when you work under pressure, when you try to please people, you will not have joy, and there's nothing that supersedes having your joy, even if all you're earning is 10 kobo like me. But if you have the joy, then that supersedes every other thing. So joy, yeah. And I also want to thank you, because I know you actually reached out to me since last year. Things became busy. Then when I was running my program at MIT, because it's also very stressful over there, I didn't really want to commit. And in my mind, I'll be thinking, as we are doing the interview or the interaction, there's a paper I need to submit, there's an assignment I've not turned in, because it was really hectic. So I just wanted to make sure that when I'm doing this, my whole being is there, and I'm not thinking of maybe something I need to submit and all of that. So thank you for your patience. I'm really grateful for the patience. Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shakara, for this beautiful time of 47 minutes chatting with you about being a lecturer in the 21st century. Actually, one question has just popped up in my mind, and I'm thinking, do I ask? Do I not ask? So I need your permission now. Do I ask?
I'm all yours. I'm all yours today.
Okay. Now that I mentioned 21st century, I'm thinking, well, in Nigeria, when you talk of technology, they're not there yet with the developed world, or the developing world. So how was lecturing? How did the higher education cope with the COVID period? I didn't know what happened, so I need to ask you, how did people cope? Was it done, or was it just cancelled till people could come in for face to face? How did you cope with technology?
Okay, so firstly, I would say that I will answer your question, but I would say that even though we are faced with problem or with barrier when it comes to technology, we shouldn't allow that to discourage us. We can make do with what we have at the moment. It might not be the best. So I'll start. For instance, the 30-30 challenge I told you that we had, like the outside of classroom intervention, because it was actually like an online, on online intervention, and it was WhatsApp group we used. It was WhatsApp we used. You can imagine when students need to send me their code, they will send it to me on WhatsApp, like Python code. They
Wow.
send it on WhatsApp. At times they do screenshot, share with me. So I would say we can make do with what we have at the moment. Like a class I taught last year, Python class that I taught last year. When I did a survey, I found out that over 30% of the students don't have laptop. Over 30%,
Wow.
and you can't we want it to be practical. But I realized that virtually all of them own a mobile phone. And so what we did was, there's this IDE called PyDrod. So it runs, is a Python integrated development environment that runs or works on mobile phone. So you can actually use your mobile phone to write Python code and run it and get results. You understand? So that was what I introduced. So people that didn't have like laptop, they used that. And they were writing some codes, like it was not just all about simple code. Some of the codes were codes that could compute CGPA, cumulative grade point average. Some of the codes they wrote using the phone were codes that could help people, that could help with simulation of ATM, automated teller machine, how to get, if you want to withdraw, you want to accept cash, you want to change your PIN, little exercises like that. They use, some of them had like hundreds of lines of code, and they use mobile phone. You understand? So I would say that it's true. It's not as if it was easy, and it's not as if it's still easy, but I would say that rather than we making like excuse, and because at the end of the day, if these students have to travel outside of Nigeria to further their studies or compete with their counterpart, nobody will listen to their story. So I would say let's make do with what we have while we are still trusting and believing that there would be change. And to answer your question, how we cope. So for my own, because at that period, many federal institutions also had a strike then. So for my institution, we weren't teaching that period. We were not teaching. But then when, at a point, there were different measures that were put in place during the pandemic. There was a time that there was total lockdown. There were a time they lifted the ban. So by the time they lifted the ban, even though at that point the strike was over for my institution, we had to use Moodle. So Moodle is a learning management system, like a learning management platform. So that was what I used for my class. So I used Moodle for my class, and then I used Zoom. So thankfully, the university provided Zoom. So like the university provided Zoom account, even though, or Zoom links, So some use Zoom, some use Google Meet. For me, I couldn't really use the school Zoom because there were a lot of people that wanted to use it. But I have a friend, Dr. Grace Oluwadebi, that has a private account. So she gave me access to her own private Zoom account. So like I was using her. So, that's also talking about going outside of the box. So now I had to reach out to her. Please, can you allow me to use your Zoom account? And she graciously allowed me. She even gave me a password. That was so kind of her. So even though there are challenges, I would just say let's look outside, let's think outside of the box. Let's look at our network, leverage on our network, especially those that are not in Nigeria that can support us. Like I just mentioned, I got Zoom link of a friend or a colleague because we got to know each other through on this platform of academics. So yeah, so that's what I would say.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful to have a support system around, building a support system, even in the academia, because it's all about collaboration. The world is all about collaboration and working together.
Yeah.
So just, it was really touching to hear that people who are studying computer science don't even have a laptop to do the work they need to do. It's so heartbreaking. But there you go. For the viewers out there who are listening and are thinking they want to support, you know how to get Dr. Shakare so that she could execute her job or implement the learning that needs to be done in the university with students who are not well-to-do, who haven't got the resources but have the passion. So there you go. Do what you think you can do to support. Thank you very much, and I think we'll call it a wrap there. Thank you very much, my sister, for granting this interview. I wish you all the best in your endeavors, and thank you very much for touching lives positively.
Thank you so much. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank
Have a
you
good
for reaching out to me and thank you for having me. So thanks to everyone that has joined and those that asked questions, Dr. Onioluwakemi, and every other questions and comments, and even those that will view this afterwards.
yeah.
Let's keep
Thank you.
imparting life. Let's keep making our contribution. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Bumi.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. There you go. You've heard it all. Do what you can do. You've heard all she has said. How can we help? And like I said earlier, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do whatever you think you need to do to be a good support to this channel and to what we do here. There is a need, and you've heard it from her. Also, the next I would like to interview will be ASU staff members, those who are in ASU. What exactly is the problem? Let us know. So, as I go, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your week, and bye bye.